Hello, this is Adolf. Welcome to the video lecture series on the course of building construction. Already, we saw some of the miscellaneous materials are used in the field of construction, and in this video, we are going to see about what are the waterproofing materials available for the construction and termite proofing materials, and what are the admixtures used in concrete to improve their properties. Let's start with the waterproofing materials. So the waterproofing means we are making the structure, it should be kept away from any water damages. So the waterproofing is the process of making the structures are waterproof or water resistance. So if you make the structure waterproof or water resistance, so it will be remains relatively unaffected by water or resisting the increase of water under specified conditions. And we have so many materials which are used as an waterproofing. So let's see them. The first material is cementitious waterproofing material. This cementitious waterproofing material can be mixed with sand and cement, and we can apply that paste into the structure where you need the waterproofing. This cementitious waterproofing is the easiest method of waterproofing in the field of construction. The materials for cementitious waterproofing are readily available from suppliers of masonry products. Moreover, they are easy to mix and apply. The application of the cementitious waterproofing techniques are mostly used in the internal wet areas, such as in our home, the internal wet areas of toilets. We will use this cementitious waterproofing. Second material is liquid waterproofing membrane. This liquid waterproofing membrane is just like as a normal paint, but when it dries, it will form as an excellent elastic membrane with excellent waterproofing capability. This liquid waterproofing membrane consists of a primer coat and two top coats. These coating can be done by spray, roller or trowel. The liquid layer is thin and offer more flexibility than the cementitious type of waterproofing. So when the liquid is dries, it forms into a rubbery coating on the wall. The durability of the liquid waterproofing membrane depends on the what type of polymer is used for manufacturing the waterproofing membrane. Third material is bitumen coating waterproofing. These bitumen coating or asphalt coating is made of bitumen based material. It is a flexible protective coat based on its formulation and polymerization grading. The flexibility and protection against water can be influenced by what is its polymer grade and the reinforcement of fiber. The most common application of bituminous coating including areas that are beneath screwed wet. It is an excellent protective coating and waterproofing agent, especially on the surface such as concrete foundation. This bituminous coating waterproofing is not suitable for the areas which are exposing to the sunlight. We can use this for the areas which are exposing to sunlight. We have to modify the bituminous coating waterproofing with the more flexible materials such as polyurethane or acrylic based products. The next material is polyurethane liquid membrane waterproofing. This method of waterproofing is used for the flat roof area, and if it is any surface are exposed to weathering. This type of waterproofing is very expensive. Polyurethane liquid member can offer high flexibility, and it is very sensitive to moisture content. Therefore, before application, one has to be very carefully evaluating the moisture content of the concrete slab. Otherwise, what will happen? It will peeling or debonding of members may happen after sometimes. Fifth material is bitumen membrane waterproofing. This bitumen membrane waterproofing is a popular method used for low sloped roofs due to their proven performance. It is a waterproofing membrane and a self-adhesive membrane. The self-adhesive compounds comprise of asphalt, polymer, and filler. Additionally to that, certain resins and oils may be added to improve adhesive characteristics. The adhesive type has a low shelf life as bonding property of the member reduces with time. The exposed layer often has a granular minor mineral aggregate to withstand the wear and tear of the weathering. For the other kind of membrane, the contractor needs to apply one protective screwed layer to prevent the puncture of the member. But for this bitumen member, we don't need to provide any kind of screwed layer. Next topic is termite proofing materials. In building construction, various wooden materials are used. These have tendency to be attacked by termites over a period of time. So in order to prevent decay of materials, especially wooden materials, termite proofing is required. There are two types of termites. One is subterranean termites, another one is drywood termites. First, subterranean termites. These subterranean termites require contact with soil, they have to live for their living. These subterranean termites are the mainly responsible for damaging the building structures. These termites build nest in a form of colony, and they grow is very fast while compared with the other type of termite. What are the methods used for controlling the subterranean termites? The first method is termiticides. These termiticides, it's a liquid based solution which can be applied on the wood directly. So it is like a poison to the termites. So if they eat these termiticides, they will die. This can be applied on foundation of homes. The second method is bait devices. These bait devices is used when it is not feasible to apply the termiticides. This is how bait devices will look like. So we have to install these bait devices into the ground so that the termite will come and get stuck inside the bait devices. So this will be used near wells and the water sources. And there are some additional termite control techniques, but these additional termite control techniques are less common control method. These are heat treatment, extreme cold, and electronic treatment termite controls. Second termite is dry wood termites. These dry wood termites does not require any soil for their living. They can live in the hardwood or wooden flooring. This causes damage at a slower rate than the subterranean termites. What are the methods used for controlling the dry wood termites? The first one is wood treatment. When a dry wood termite colony is limited, a direct wood treatment can be effective to remove the treatment. So for this treatment, a pest control expert applies a liquid insecticides to the surface of the wood so that these liquid insecticides will kill the termites which are living inside the wood. The second method is structural fumigation. This structural fumigation is used when a termite attack includes multiple colonies in and around a home. In this process, a gas is pumped which penetrates through all cracks where termites are present. In the wood treatment, we use a liquid insecticides. In the structural fumigation, we are using a gas which will capable of killing the termites which are living in all over the cracks of the building. The termite proofing in the building can be done in pre-construction as well as post-construction. Pre-construction means initial stages of construction of a building. So in the pre-construction, it is divided into three operations. That is site preparation. During the site preparation, if you see any termite colonies, we will treat that site with the termite proofing. Second is soil treatment. So in the soil, if you see the termites, then we will treat that soil for a termite proofing. Second is, the third one is structural barriers. That is, at a plinth level, we are providing a structure to prevent the termites to enter into the building. Mostly the structural barriers will be a cement concrete layer or a metal which is of a non-corrodable sheet of copper or galvanized iron. Next is the post-construction treatment. This is done to the existing building which is attacked by the termites. In this post-construction treatment, a pressure pump will be required for proper penetration of chemical into the surface to be treated. This post-construction treatment can be divided into three operations. First one is treatment of foundation. Second one is treatment of soil under floors. And the third one is treatment of masonry at plinth level. These are the termite proofing and waterproofing materials. Next topic is admixtures in concrete. There are various types of admixtures are used in concrete to enhance the performance of the concrete. The concrete admixtures is defined as the material other than aggregate, water and cement added to the concrete to improve its property. There are various types of admixtures that are used in our concrete. Let's see one by one. The first admixture is water reducing admixtures. The water reducing admixtures, the name itself, we can define that they are used to minimize the water demand in a concrete mix. The workability of the concrete is the important property which is improved with the addition of water. But if the amount of water is more than the required, then the strength and the durability of the property of concrete gets affected. So, we using the water reducing admixtures to minimize the water demand to improve the workability of the concrete. Second admixture is retarding admixtures. The retarding admixtures slow down the rate of hydration of cement in its initial stages and increase the initial setting time of concrete. They are also called as retarders and used especially in high temperature zones where concrete will set quickly. Third one is accelerating admixtures. Accelerating admixtures are used to reduce the initial setting time of concrete. That means if your initial setting of time concrete is 30 minutes means these accelerating admixtures will reduce that 30 minute to 20 minute or 25 minute. They speed up the process of initial stage of hardening of concrete. Hence, they are also called as accelerators because it accelerating the process, speeding up the process. These accelerators also improves the strength of concrete in its early stage by increasing the rate of hydration. Next admixture is air entraining concrete admixture. These air entraining admixtures are one of the most important invention in concrete technology. Their primary function is to increase the durability of concrete under freezing and thawing conditions. When these air entraining concrete admixtures are added to the concrete mix, these admixtures will form millions of air bubbles throughout the mix and improves the property of concrete. The next admixture is pozzolanic admixture. These pozzolanic admixtures are used to prepare dense concrete mix which is best suitable for water retaining structures like dams and reservoirs. These pozzolanic admixtures reduce the heat of hydration and thermal shrinkage. Damp proofing admixtures. We know damp proofing or waterproofing. This is used to make the concrete structure impermeable against the water. These damp proofing admixtures are used to prevent dampness on the concrete surface also. These admixtures also act as accelerators in the early stage of concrete hardening. The next admixture is air detraining admixtures. First, we saw the air entraining admixtures. That means it will give excess air bubble to the concrete. In the air detraining admixtures, it removes the excess air from the concrete voids. Because sometimes the aggregate may release the gas into the concrete and the air entrained is more than what we expected. At that time, we will use these type of admixtures to remove the excess air voids from the concrete. Next one is anti-washout admixtures. Anti-washout. Washout means it is take away by the water. Anti means it doesn't take away by the water. So these anti-washout admixtures are used in concrete especially for underwater concrete structure. It protects the concrete mix from being washed out under water pressure. It improves the cohesiveness of concrete. The next one is grouting admixture. Grouting admixtures are added to grout materials to improve the grout properties according to the requirement of grout. Sometimes what will happen, a grouting materials needed a quick set, or sometimes it needed to be slow set to spread into deep cracks or fissures. So according to the setting time, we will use these grouting admixtures. Next one is corrosion preventing admixtures. The corrosion of steel in reinforcement concrete structure is general and it will happen, and it is severe when the structure is exposed to the saline water areas. It will be very much severe. in the near saline water or industrial fumes or chlorides. To prevent or slow down the process, we use the corrosion preventing admixtures in the concrete to slow down the corrosion of steel in the reinforced concrete. The last admixture is bonding admixtures. These bonding admixtures are used to create a bond between old and the fresh concrete surface. So in general, if we pour fresh concrete over a hardened concrete surface, there will be a chance of failure for fresh concrete surface due to weak bond within the old surface. To improve the bonding between the fresh and the old concrete surface, we use the bonding admixtures. So these are the admixtures used in the concrete to improve their performance or their properties. So in this video, we saw what are the waterproofing materials which are used in the field of construction. Then what are the termite proofing materials which are used, and finally we saw the admixtures that are used in concrete to improve their performance or the properties. Thank you.